Welcome to episode 2 of the Faraway Galaxy podcast. I am Connor, and today we're going to talk about George Lucas's revisions to the original trilogy. I have my friend
Adam
and Cole,
and we're going to start off with episode 4. And as you can see on the screen, we have a list of the topics we want to talk about, because there's a lot more revisions that were done, and we're not going to talk about all of them, because a lot of them are kind of pointless, or just like little minor audio changes. So we're going to talk about these ones on the screen, and then I'll show you. I'll try to edit. We'll see how that works out. Post-processing editing. We'll see how, if I can put any images on screen to give you guys a reference of what we're talking about.
If not, we'll link the videos that we used as a reference in the description. Just kind of giving that creator a little bit of credit for doing all that work.
Yeah, I'll link in the description the videos we watched before this that show all the cuts together and everything. It's a really great video. I highly recommend you guys watch that before watching this podcast, just to get a reference of what we're talking about, because some of these scenes you might have never even seen in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like me.
Yeah. I mean, Cole, have you seen some of these before, like for the first time watching that video?
No, there were some that I had seen for the first time.
Yeah, so I think most of you haven't seen a lot of these scenes, so highly recommend watch the videos in the description and then come back and then watch this video. So we're just going to start off with the intro crawl. Obviously, it's the intro. When episode 4 first came out, it wasn't episode 4. It was just Star Wars. So George Lucas went back, edited the speed of the text, kind of the font size, the coloring. Basically just the normal intro that we all know today was basically edited back in. And then after that, I mean, they enhanced all the images. I mean, watching them, they looked really nice, right?
Yeah, so they, made the image clearer. They
redid all the, like, cause it's shot on film,
right.
But they digitalized it.
I think one of the most notable ones, in my opinion, was Ben Kenobi's house. How it went from just a shot of like outside the house to like this full-on scenery of the sunset of Tatooine with Ben's house on a cliff, and then just an overview of the desert that surrounds Kenobi's house.
Yeah, so basically it's just like when older movies are moved to Blu-ray, it looks crisper and just way nicer. So basically all 3 movies were enhanced. Basically they look brand new. They look honestly amazing. So
they look more modern.
Yeah. I think the first notable change that happens in episode 4 is R2-D2's rock.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the scene is where Luke is being attacked by the Tusken Raiders, and there's a little rock that they CGI'd in front of R2-D2 while he was hiding.
Which is really funny. Like, I don't know the overall purpose of the rock. Like, maybe it was just to insinuate that R2 was hidden.
Yeah, I think the point of the rock is it definitely makes it look like R2's more covered.
Yeah.
You can tell between the differences. Like, how did the Tuskens not notice R2 when it was kind of a big gap where R2 was hidden, but with the rock it hides R2 just that little bit better and fits a bit more with the scene. But it is kind of funky when you consider R2 trying to get out of the rock.
Yeah, it's like it definitely makes him more hidden. And I guess what we're doing with like the cuts is we're going to debate whether they're good or bad. Because I mean, this one is good, but also kind of just like, how'd he get in there so quickly?
And also, why didn't they just put the rock there in the first place?
Yeah.
Like, how expensive would a styrofoam
rock be?
Prop have?
Because I mean, these were George's decisions to put this in. So CGIing a rock is not cheap.
So that's another thing about those videos that we were talking about earlier is this guy goes in and dates it all.
Mm-hmm.
So do either of you remember when this cut was added? Was it 2011?
I think it's the 2011.
Okay.
I don't think it was, I think it was 2011 because 97 was when the DVDs came out, and I don't think they didn't do the CGI for that one.
Okay.
This is definitely 2011 cut.
So maybe he was just watching it for 20 years and decided, look, it's time to
add that rock.
Add that rock.
I've been meaning to add that rock.
I mean, you got to remember Lucas's story about how he actually got to make Star Wars was the fact that he pitched the idea to a lot of companies and they denied it over and over and over again until he finally got a chance with one. Yeah. So his budget probably wasn't even that big in the first place. Mm-hmm. And even still, the original Episode 4 looked amazing to that time, but just he looked back at it and to modern movie standards, he was probably like, let's try and fix a couple of these things with the tools that we now have.
Yeah, he thought he could do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the next revision is Obi-Wan's scream. This one, remind me of the creature again.
It is the Krayt Dragon.
Yeah, Krayt Dragon's in The Mandalorian. I always forget its name. But this one changes every single time they do a revision. So in 97 it changed. 2011 it changed. I think it changed in 2004 with like another cut or something.
I think there were only 3.
There's only 3 cuts. It was the original movie, the 1997 cut, which carries over to the 2004 edition.
Yeah, and sometimes in the 97 to 2004, like they added a couple things in later episodes. They added stuff in 2004.
Which I prefer the 2011 version of this. Like, and all of this is kind of just nitpicky stuff.
Yeah, these are all tiny.
It's not like a make or break the movie type thing.
Yeah,
but like, I think it just sounds more natural because the others sound very techno. Mm-hmm. They sound very computer-esque.
Yeah, I guess it's more of a technology thing. He probably had a vision for what it sounded like, but just couldn't get it at the time. Yeah. So I mean,
until in 2011, they just decided to have a guy scream into the mic.
Yeah.
I mean, what they were trying to do is Obi-Wan was using the Force to mimic the sound of the Krayt Dragon. Yeah. And like in the original and in 1997, it sounds like what we hear in The Mandalorian for the Krayt Dragon's cry, which it seems a little unrealistic. And then the 2011 edition makes it sound more realistic, but also blending that in with the Krayt Dragon cry that we all know now.
Yeah.
But I think in general, it's just really funny how Obi-Wan does that scream. Like, it's just, it's a funny scene. He's just literally just some guy in the desert, just, oh, I'm a hippie, just, whoa, scares off some raiders.
And very funny that they would take the time to critique that.
Yeah, like, that's an important thing they gotta fix. Like, for them to think, let's fix this.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's just kind of funny, to be honest, that scene. So the next scene is, they added Stormtroopers and more dewbacks, so they, like, CGI'd some dewbacks in when when the Stormtroopers are searching for, like, the parts in the pod for C-3PO.
And this was 2011.
Yeah, I believe this is a 2011 only one where it's just more... It just makes it seem like the Empire is more imposing.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
I like the change. Do you like the change?
Yes, I like the change because as well, what has happened here is R2 has the Death Star plans, and in the original edition, you only see 3 Stormtroopers out there looking for the pod. So it's a little weird to think, why are they only sending 3 troopers to try and find the plans for their ultimate weapon? But in the 2011 edition, you see a whole squadron of troopers trying to find these droids, and it just further emphasizes the power of the Empire and how important these plans are.
Yeah.
I also think, so my favorite thing about, like, Episode 4 is, like, I really like the Stormtroopers in Episode 4, and it's just because they're, like, really scuffed up on Tatooine. Like, they look super dirty. Like, I don't know, they just look a lot cooler and more gritty and clunky. Like, you hear the armor moving when they're walking. Yeah. I just really like the Episode 4 Stormtroopers, and I don't think they've, like, gotten them right since then. Like, Episode 5 they're good, 6 they're still kind of clunky and cool, but like the Mandalorian they don't feel the same.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you and I have had that conversation before where I like typically though in an army setting you're taught to keep your equipment clean. And so for a Stormtrooper, and you think about how difficult it is to keep like white
armor clean
pristine.
On this desert.
Yeah. That's
they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we want to talk about the armor, you got to think as well how most of those battles with our dirty troopers is where they can get dirty. Sand troopers are fought in the sand. Snow troopers are fought in the snow. Scout troopers and only scout troopers are fought in the jungle. And so obviously there's a higher chance for their armor to get dirty. But in the Death Star 2, on Star Destroyers, and then where they mostly fight in the Mandalorian inside of Imperial bases, that's where they have the more clean armor.
Yeah, that's where they clean it, is on bases. So.
Yeah.
So we haven't really got to see our troopers in dirty location in the Mandalorian yet.
But I really do like, though, Episode 4, in conclusion, basically, about this like extended or added revision, is they look really cool. Definitely needed to add them.
Absolutely.
Like, the dewbacks, really cool too.
And it makes it more populated. It makes it more diverse.
Yeah, it just seems like it's a fuller image.
Exactly.
And the dewbacks, just
cool.
An excellent addition, just to see them alive
rather than also
still image.
Something to note: the CGI is the same type of CGI that they use in the prequels. So it kind of melds the movies together.
Yeah, they look
exactly
like they're supposed to be together.
Right.
So I like that. So the next scene is basically when Luke and Obi-Wan and C-3PO and R2-D2 drive into Mos Eisley. And there's 2 cuts of this. Actually 3. I mean, there's the original, but then like in 97 they added a CGI scene that looks absolutely atrocious.
Is that which one was that?
So it's like when they're flying through.
Jawa?
You mean? Oh no. Well, yes, but also that's added in 2011.
Okay.
It was like one of their first attempts at CGI in Star Wars, and it didn't help its case. It looks much better with 2011.
Yeah. So basically, the scene is just them driving in on Luke's speeder into Mos Eisley, and it's just a whole bunch of shots of Mos Eisley. In the newer ones, like 2011, they just add more, I guess, liveliness to Mos Eisley, make it look, I guess, more gritty, just better for one. The CG in 97 wasn't good. It was basically them just like driving in and a couple like Jawa stuff and other creatures. A speeder comes by and stuff.
Yeah. Because it looks like a Phantom Menace, pretty much.
Yeah, so in 2011, it looks really similar to the Phantom Menace, but like the 97 one was like pre-Phantom Menace, so it just doesn't look as good.
Yeah.
So they basically used the assets from 2001 there. It just made it look a lot nicer. And I mean, we
also got that cool camel-looking creature.
That's what that was what I was talking about.
That's where the Jawa falls off.
Yeah.
That's from the 2011. I think it might have been 97 as well, but just it's in both or something.
Yeah.
2011's just cleaner.
Yeah, exactly. 2011, great.
Exactly.
Looks great, but it's not a bad scene though. Like
no,
they kind of need to add that because Mos Eisley needed to be more lively. Like we just like in the original movie, it's like we go in and out, and it's like, well, this is supposed to be a crime, ugly, gross looking like spaceport because that's what Obi-Wan says before you won't find any more villainy.
Dangerous. Scum and villainy.
So adding that scene definitely needed to happen. It looks really good.
Speaking of scum and villainy.
Yeah. We go into Mos Eisley Cantina. And this is just a little nitpicky change. Like every change on this list isn't like, some aren't important at all, but some are kind of just funny. This one's kind of a funny one. It's the Wolfman.
Connor's favorite Star Wars character.
Yeah, he's my favorite Star Wars character that just gets cut. I don't know. Adam, what's your opinion on Wolfman?
I don't know. He just looks like a werewolf. He looks like just out of place, to be honest. He looks like a 90s horror movie character.
Wolfman.
I know. Like, but it's just like, I don't know. And do we ever see any species like him?
He's canon. Like, he is a species in Star Wars.
Okay.
Like, you can go Wikipedia and figure out what he is.
Yeah.
Hey, man, if E.T.'s a race in Star Wars, then there's got to be wolf people.
Yeah. Cole, what's your opinion on Wolfman?
I like Wolfman, but I don't mind the new change either. There is a soft spot.
Yeah, the new change is just like it's a guy it's an alien species smoking, and then another one is just another random alien that covers him up or something.
They get into a little fight.
Yeah, like it's because it's in the back. Like one time, like the first intro of Wolfman is like a close up of him like looking kind of like
snarling,
like a snarl. But they changed that with like a alien smoking a pipe or something.
Okay.
So that's when he just got totally deleted from the movie. It made me really sad, but. Gotta do what you gotta do. George didn't like Wolfman. I think there's an actual interview out there where George explains why they took out Wolfman.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure there's a video out there.
Curious as to why, and honestly, a lot of these just kind of replacement.
They don't replace a
scenes.
lot of like creatures though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like weird that they did that.
Like, what made them decide?
No
that
Wolfman.
This needs to be.
Yeah.
I think
This
we need to
is
move
just-
on to the more important, debatable cantina scene.
Yeah.
Han and Greedo.
Yeah.
Who shot first?
I don't know, Cole. Who did shot first?
Who did shot first?
Exactly. Who did? Who did it?
Who done it?
Who's
done
done it?
I mean, you have our original cut where Han shot first. Then
But-
you have our 1997 cut where Greedo shoots first, and then Han shoots second. But then you have your 2011 cut where they basically both shoot at the exact same time. What does Lucas want? I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know either. I have my own opinion on this. I personally think I kind of just want Han to shoot first. I want him to
Greedo
just.
was obviously threatening the guy.
Yeah, so I feel like Han should just go
So-
bang.
Yeah.
Just get
And-
it over with.
And Greedo's kind of acting like a pushover to Han at this point. Han's in a very relaxed stance in this whole confrontation,
Yeah.
while Greedo's very approaching. So Han doesn't fear him whatsoever, and so it kind of makes sense as to why he would pull the trigger first.
But if you look at the scene, so in the original cut, as we said before, Greedo doesn't shoot at all.
Yeah.
And so Han doesn't move. And so to make him move in future cuts, they literally just shift the character
Yeah.
to the right. And
Yeah, it's like a little head shift. Just
It's
like.
so-
not
weird.
it's his whole body.
Yeah.
You see in the 77 cut, like he shifts his whole body.
Mhm.
It's so funny.
Yeah, 97 they shift him, and then
Yeah.
2011
They
shift him
they
again.
they make it a little cleaner, and it's just his head. But it's,
Yeah, I don't see
it's
any.
really fun.
I like. I guess people says it ruins his character if he shoots first. He's supposed to be a good guy.
no.
No,
It doesn't ruin his
Han's
character.
not supposed to be a good guy. He was a smuggler who was just trying to make a buck or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's an
him
anti-hero.
shooting Greedo. I mean, Greedo was threatening him. Greedo was kind of just a little scummy guy.
The only reason Han becomes a good guy is because of
Leia.
mostly Leia
Yeah,
and a little bit of Luke.
the queen.
The one woman that steals his heart.
Yeah. So I mean, with that, I think we all agree Han should shoot first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes sense. I mean, I understand why the fan base literally loses their mind over that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's George versus the world at that point.
I
Maybe
feel like-
maybe that's the reason George
exactly.
sold.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I think George is just like.
There's a reason why in the interview that he held as after he sold Lucasfilms, he told Kathleen Kennedy, "Good luck."
He's.
Yeah,
He knew what they were getting into.
Yeah,
He's
but,
just like Darth Sidious watching the two sides
Yeah.
fight each other.
I mean, he only, to our knowledge, George could have just sold all this just because he was getting too much flack about this one scene. Because you know this
it
one.
was too much.
This is the biggest scene of his revision for this episode. Like
Yeah.
the most
There was
controversial.
death threats probably
Yeah.
sent to the man.
Yeah, people did not like this. Honestly, but it doesn't matter in the end. It really doesn't.
Honestly, none of these scenes are detrimental to the plot.
Yeah, it's
just-
not like we cut half the movie and
Yeah.
replaced it. It's just little minor things
Yeah.
for, I guess, character development. But like to everyone, Han Solo is always gonna be that grimy,
Exactly.
scummy
Little
guy.
nitpicky stuff.
Yeah.
It's just-
The whole point of these scenes is just to expand the universe.
Yeah. Honestly,
Just
that's
that
true.
little bit more to make things prettier, or
Yeah.
just
more sense, or just
to refine.
hmm So the next scene after the big Han Solo and Greedo debacle is Jabba the Hutt. I don't like this scene, to be honest. Adam, I think, has a different opinion.
Yeah, I do like this scene because in the original, when it was released in theaters, you didn't see Jabba the Hutt, but they had originally planned for him to be in the movie.
Yep.
And again in the videos, and I had never seen that before. I did not know Jabba
Was
was
some
not
like
exactly.
What was that accent?
Well, no, it was Irish. It was just
That
an
was
Irish.
it was an Irish guy, big Irish guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
They
was
hadn't-
just a stand-in.
Yeah.
So what happened was they hadn't finalized Jabba's design yet.
Yeah.
So,
So they
they
just
had a
cut. They
deadline
just cut
maybe.
it from the movie.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And then they added him later, which his model even then in 1997
It was disgusting.
it was terrible.
Yeah.
Compared to Return of the Jedi's full on.
Wait,
build.
so do you like the scene, Adam, or in general, like 2011? Do you like that scene?
Yeah, I like.
Okay, so you like Jabba in Episode 4?
I could have. It's a testament to Han's character. It's more character development for Han, but it's not really Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Jabba that we see. It's not the powerhouse that he was in Clone Wars.
What's your opinion, Cole, on this scene?
My opinion on the scene,
like, do you like it?
Is that I do like the scene because I think there's a lot of factors that play behind her between production and then also in story.
Yeah.
Like the fact that this was supposed to be our first scene of Jabba. Yeah. Not what we see in Return of the Jedi or in Episode 1 and then the Clone Wars TV show that we got from Dave Filoni. Mm-hmm. This was supposed to be Jabba's first appearance, being the threatening gangster lord that he is. Mm-hmm. But also in story, the fact that he's coming to Han saying, "You killed Greedo, but look, man, you're the best I've got for smuggling, and I'm running low on money, so I'm going to give you one more chance, and you give me a little extra plus what you owe me, and we'll call it square here. But if you don't, I'm going to make sure you can never land on a planet again." Yeah. Like, the way Han kind of treats Jabba, it's so in character for Han in his kind of bad guy, good guy kind of way. But the fact that Jabba was it was a pure threat, and Han knew it. Yeah. That's why he was so desperate to get on the Millennium Falcon as fast as he wanted to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I already said I don't like the scene. The reason I don't like it is Cole pointed out a lot of the reasons why I don't like it. I don't like it because it introduces Jabba too early. Because I like the mystery. If you're going to watch the Star Wars movies for the first time, 4, 5, and 6, and then 1, 2, and 3, it is really nice to not know who Jabba is until Episode 6. It's like, whoa, he's a giant slug. And he has all these women and all this power, this awesome, palace. It's just super cool. So, just spoiling him, I guess, and Boba Fett spoiling him, him just standing in there,
which I kind of
there was no point.
I like the scene, but the
I do understand the Boba Fett thing. That was kind of weird. How he just walks in and then just turns to the camera like, "Yeah, I'm here."
It makes it seem like Boba Fett is more of a Jabba's guard than an actual bounty hunter.
Yeah,
that's true.
Why? But I will say though, the fact that when Han walks in, you see Jabba's 5 guards besides Boba Fett, all pull up their blasters to Han. It does as well add to Jabba's power to what minimal we see in Episode 4, but just enough to let you know this guy's gonna be important later.
The thing about it is you think about the reflective nature of it, because who does that remind you of? Who else does Boba Fett stand next to? Who else has guards that's gonna throw up their guns the second an intruder appears? Vader. Exactly. So it is a foreshadowing of what we're gonna see later on in the movie.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I didn't think about it that way, but I also don't like how Han steps on. I feel like Han disrespecting Jabba to that point. It's okay, Han, you're cool. But bro, this guy is literally the biggest. This guy will mess you up. It's the biggest crime lord. Yeah. Don't do that. It's kind of cringy, but
yeah.
I think the point of that as well though was the fact to show how much of a smooth talker Han is.
Yeah.
Now, granted, his smooth talking, as we see sometimes in the movies, it doesn't work out for him very well.
Yeah, but I feel
But there also are those moments in the movies where he does smooth talk, and it just makes him the king right there in the playing field.
And it goes back to, it is character development for Han. So we get introduced to the whole. So I think this scene is more catered towards Han than it is towards Jabba, which is probably
and I don't think they thought about that. Yeah. They were thinking of Han first, Jabba second. Yeah. So, which makes sense because Han is a bigger character, but
he's one of the main 3.
Yeah, Jabba though is a huge villain later on that they got to make sure is really good.
Yeah.
So kind of ruining him this early, or just showing him as oh, okay, this is what it is. But if they could take it out, I'd take it out. But I also feel like it should just be like a deleted scene. Like, so for a lot of these cuts, I feel like it should have still happened. You know what I mean? Like this scene should have still happened, but you should be able to choose to see it or not. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's for a lot of these, because a lot of these, it's just like, well, I want to see Han shoot first. Why can't I see that? So that's kind of like another debate for another day. But
yeah,
the next scene is, I guess we're talking about Han again.
Yeah, Han chasing stormtroopers.
Yeah, so Han in the Death Star. So we jump. There's no more cuts until
Death Star.
There's probably some like there are some visual enhancements for like ships and stuff, but like bigger ones, it doesn't happen until Han gets to the Death Star, and it's when he runs down the hallway screaming at like some stormtroopers and they're running away, and he turns the corner. And there's just a whole battalion of like stormtroopers, and he just like looks at him. He's like, "Oh no!" and just.
I like how his scream goes from a scream to terrify them to himself being terrified. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's like a suicidal man running into a crowd, and then literally like seeing 10,000 like troopers, and it's like, "Oh crap! I thought I had this. Never mind."
Like it makes it so much funnier than the original, where there was like only 8 of them waiting there, compared to the now like 35 waiting there, all guns pointed. It's hilarious,
and it's kind of funny seeing some of those stormtroopers just turn around and be like you don't see their expression though, but you kind of just see their heads just turn. They're just like, what is this guy doing? So I think that's kind of funny as well. It's a good scene. Definitely need to be added.
Absolutely.
Like, that's just a little nitpicky one. It's just really funny.
And here's another nitpicky one.
Yeah, this is a nitpick one. I
Why?
I didn't know about this until watching the videos about all the cuts and then, like, revisions. So, supposedly, Leia's... so, when Luke and Leia are trying to run away from a couple stormtroopers on the Death Star, and they're at that scene where they're going to swing across the... I guess a ravine. I don't know whether it's just like a big
giant hole in the Death Star.
Just a big reactor shaft, probably.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a reactor shaft. And they're gonna swing, and then Luke gives Leia the blaster, and then she shoots the blaster. And when Luke shot the blaster, it sounded fine.
Yeah.
It sounded like the normal blaster.
Exactly.
But when Leia shoots it,
they change it.
But only in the 1997 edition.
Yeah, it sounds like a shotgun. It's literally just a shotgun.
Yeah.
Like Leia's. Like, when Leia shoots...
Gunpowder and all.
Just shotgun. Shotgun sounds everywhere.
And the magic touch.
It's super weird. When I first heard that, I was like, what the heck were they thinking?
Yeah.
Why make this different?
Maybe it was to... Kind of similar to the, like, them changing the clone trooper bolts to blue. Like,
yeah.
It just helps you differentiate it. But, I don't know.
It's totally...
I think
it's
totally
just a goof. Definitely a goof.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, no, I feel like they're just testing things out. And like,
yeah.
Let's just turn it into a shotgun. Yeah. But who knows? That one's just funny to just point out. Glad they fixed that, because that is a weird sounding
just
in Star Wars.
Interesting decision. Like, just, I wonder what made them think this is necessary.
Mm-hmm. Here's another funny one with clone troopers on the Death Star.
But this is a good addition.
This
yeah.
This is probably, you want to explain it, Cole?
Yes. So, is it Han and Chewie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Han and Chewie
are running through the hallway, and you have a bunch of stormtroopers running after them, carrying off from the last scene where Han's running away from the army of them. How they added a stormtrooper saying, "Close the blast doors!" And then as they're closing the blast doors, Han and Chewie jump through the door and they start going, "Open the blast doors!"
Because originally that scene was silent until they said, "Open the blast doors."
Yeah, so it was just one stormtrooper in the 1977 version said, "Open the blast doors." No, it was close the blast doors.
No, it was open.
Yeah,
They were running, and for some reason the blast doors were closing.
Yeah.
Like, no one had said anything.
Yeah,
and
no one
happened to be closing. And so the comedic part, I hate to explain the joke.
Yeah, explaining jokes is never fun, but it is really funny.
But so Han and Chewie are running towards the blast doors, and so the stormtroopers, in an attempt to trap them, want the blast doors to be closed. So, the Star Wars doors, they center around each other.
Yeah.
And so Han and Chewie escape through the hole, and
Now their stormtroopers are stuck behind the door.
Exactly. They are immediately regretting their decision to close the blast doors.
Yeah, so they gotta open the blast doors. This just reminds me, like, this is like the little things that make the stormtroopers, like, they're still menacing. Like, these guys are, don't mess with these guys.
Yeah.
But it also makes them a little dumb, and I like that. It's not like they're blaster fodder. They're just, like, silly mistakes that are funny. It's like the stormtrooper hitting his head.
Mistakes, exactly.
Super funny, like, little things. Like, I'm glad they never took out the stormtrooper hitting his head. Like, the thunk. That's so flippin' funny. Like, it's just little things like that just make stormtroopers, they're super scary and menacing and, like, badass, but they're still human. Like, they do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess after that, we, there's no more cuts in the, Death Star. We go straight into,
Yavin.
Yeah, with, basically all of them getting ready to fight the Death Star. And we actually get the introduction of Biggs Darklighter. I mean, he was already in the movie. Not in the movie, but, like,
he was referenced by Luke.
And there is a deleted scene that's not in the actual cuts of, like, Luke talking to him on Tatooine before he actually leaves. It's kind of a weird scene. It didn't really need to be in the movie, but that's beyond the point. This one, it's like an actual dialogue scene of them before they're gonna get in their X-Wings and fly off, and they're just talking. A general says, "Luke, are you ready for this?" And Biggs is like, "Luke's like the best pilot in the Outer Rim."
He vouches for him.
Yeah, so that was really cool. It shows, like, the friendship and, like, good old times, they say. And I just like them adding Luke's friend because he's not, like, lonely or anything.
It's kind of like that 80s good old boy.
Yeah, it's like his best friend. Just like two guys who haven't seen each other for a long time get back together and they're ready to mess some stuff up. Sadly.
It also helps reinforce the detail that was said all the way back at the beginning of the movie that would probably escape most audiences' minds about how Luke had told his uncle and aunt, like, I am a good pilot. But now Biggs telling the captain, Luke is the best pilot that I know. About the fact that Luke isn't just great at piloting all of a sudden.
I
but,
mean,
like,
he does know the Force, so he has to be a great pilot.
Exactly.
So I guess that's the only reason. Maybe he's just actually
His father was a great pilot.
Yeah. Supposedly. Yeah.
And a great friend.
He was a great friend, did some great things. But that scene definitely, I guess the reason they didn't put it in the original movie is maybe time constraints. They didn't want the movie to be too long, but it's a good just scene to add in. It fills out character development for both. Just like a little sprinkle of sugar for the audience. Like,
just an added scene.
Yeah. And then the next final thing is basically on the screen it says space enhancements. It's just basically the Death Star exploding, and it just looks like a real explosion.
And also the planets. Every time it does,
planets, the ships, like the X-Wings look better, the Y-Wings look better.
It's no longer just the models. They went back and CGI'd them and made them look.
They look a lot better,
and it's more reminiscent of a nuke. The imagery there, because Star Wars, at least the original trilogy, was a innuendo for the
World War II.
Yeah, World War II.
Yeah, so there's a lot of tropes with that.
So,
but it's just with that, like, the explosion is like a ring. They add a ring basically, and it's also not just like firecrackers, because the original, like, explosion was like
it was a realistic mini.
Like, it was actually a realistic mini explosion they did with pyrotechnics and stuff. But like now I think it was still kind of real, but they added the ring, which is nice.
Yeah. The explosion was still there. The original explosion was still there. You can kind of see it.
They just added in the
rings and little fire stuff. It looks a lot better.
It looks like an actual planet exploding
from the
inside.
Yeah. And I mean, from pretty much it's the end of the movie. There's really no more scenes. I mean, Chewie did get a medal. You know, in the medal ceremony where they get medals.
Chewie never gets a medal.
I feel like, did they ever give him though?
In episode 9.
Oh, okay.
That's what that whole part was.
Yeah. Okay, so that was just a meme. Some reason
Chewie never gets his medal in episode 4.
I wonder if in the comic books or something they ever. I feel like in a comic book series of that scene,
I think there was something about like Chewie. it was just something about the Wookiees. They wouldn't accept medals or something like
that.
But...
It's weird. I honestly sometimes feel like they should have added a scene where like Chewie gets a medal, or just like Chewie holds a medal, like put it in his hand or something.
Yeah.
Like Leia's super short. I mean, Chewie could bend down over and just like she can put it over his neck, but like just hand Chewie the medal. Give the man some credit.
Was that the actual problem? He was too tall?
I don't know. Maybe for the costume.
Yeah.
For the costume to like bend over. Honestly, I don't know.
It might have been just the fact that Chewie wasn't one of the big three of Leia, Han, and Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the point, I mean, further on in the movies, he is a big focal point. But at this point, they probably didn't expect him to be so.
He's just kind of
popular.
comedic.
Yeah.
He was Han's buddy. That's really what he was.
And then we'll move to episode 5. Honestly, one of the some people say this is the best Star Wars movie ever created, and sometimes I agree with them, sometimes I don't. I kind of really like all of them or most of them. So like this one does not have a lot of changes, which I kind of like.
Yeah,
this one has the least.
Least amount of changes completely.
But what they do add, they do it right.
Mm-hmm. So they start off with the Wampa scene. Adam, you were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, so it really seems, and we didn't even talk about the quote-unquote censorship in the previous ones.
Yeah. There's a little bit of censorship with blasters.
But there was just some characters that weren't censored, so...
Yeah, so it's kind of...
It's hit or miss.
It's interesting, but like as far as a lot of these scenes go, the later on in time you get, so 2011 I think is when this was added, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it just kind of, it's trying to cater towards the younger audience and the perceived, like, the audience wants more violence. They actually show the Wampa. So in the original cut of this scene, they did not show the Wampa. It was just kind of hinting at it. And they showed its legs and I think its back.
Mm-hmm. And then the arm falling off.
And did they show the arm falling off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Only in the original.
I think that's like a Star Wars trope where it's like somebody cuts their arm cut off and they just pan to the arm, like in episode 4 with the guy's arm on the ground. Yep. The Wampa's arm on the ground. It's just a thing Star Wars.
It's kind of like the I have a bad feeling about that.
Yeah. It's just the arm.
But anyway, they make this scene a whole lot more gruesome with it cutting to the Wampa periodically in this scene where he's eating this bloody body part. I don't know if it's a leg or...
I think it's a tauntaun. Just like
tauntaun.
It's probably Luke's tauntaun that he was riding on.
Got you. Yeah, that's true. Okay. But it is. And the the Wampa is just
chowing down,
feasting on it.
Bloody, it's drooling. It's a gruesome scene.
It's pretty
honestly.
gross. Yeah. Definitely PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
Right there. So,
but it just adds to the monster that is the Wampa, rather than just the few short like
cries and stuff.
It adds to the seriousness of the scene.
Yeah.
And
just the fact that Luke's slowly waking up and needs to find a way out of here before the Wampa.
It's just a little adrenaline rush.
Yeah, more scary fear factor scene, just to make it seem more dangerous. Also, like with this scene, they enhance like the imaging, like they do in all the movies.
Yeah.
But like they added like a blue tint to the snow and just like everything. I think it makes it look a lot better. Just like the scene with the blue tint, I really like it. It's not as white; it's like bluish, so it seems like it's an actual like different world. It's not like
dark cave.
It's not like they're in Norway, which I think that's where they were filming. It's like this is a different planet.
Yeah,
and also is adding to the fact that it was becoming nighttime, technically speaking, on Hoth. So
yeah, and then next I wrote there's some dialogue changes, some super minor ones with like C-3PO and Luke, and then R2-D2 and Luke. They're really not important at all. They're just kind of noteworthy to say. I think one of them is really the only one I really care about is the R2-D2 one on Dagobah.
Yeah.
Where do you know the exact line called?
Yeah, where it was when R2 gets spit back up by the monster, and Luke's like, in the original release, Luke's like, you're lucky that you aren't very tasty.
Yeah.
But then they change it to, oh, you're lucky to still be alive.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the original is so much more funny.
Yeah, so I think that might be a thing where they're like, well, this movie's supposed to be a little serious, so they're going to take out, like, I guess these cheesy comedy lines, but, like, I don't think it was that cheesy. I think, because, like, you were saying, like, this is catering to more of a mature audience as the movies go on. But, like, this is a kind of, like, a typical, like, scene where it's like, this is good humor. Yeah, this is kind of funny.
And as well, Luke and R2 were like kind of good buddies at that point.
Yeah.
R2 was Luke's protocol droid, and
this is
he
a
wanted
different
to use him.
Right. And this is kind of going back to the mature theme. This is a different time. This cut was made in 2011, and like movies in that time, not entirely different from now, but the theme is still kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't in action movies, there aren't as many like comedic moments.
Yeah, just little wingers or something like that.
As there are now, where an action movie is pretty much just a comedy now.
Yeah.
But
I think it just shows like the little like friendship between the two, or just like Luke's humor.
Yeah.
Like it makes him more human, I guess, instead of just,
and it shows as well just the jolly heart that Luke had.
Yeah, because on Dagobah he just turns into a grumpy kid. It's kind of it's challenging.
He's struggling with the Force. He's only known the physical, and all of a sudden he's being told, "Hey, you can use this ability to make anything float."
Yeah, so it's definitely a challenge for him.
Imagine your world just being completely blown right then and there to use the Force.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess the next change, which is a super big one. I love
this change.
Yeah, it's the Emperor's hologram. So they basically film the scene over again with the Emperor and redo all the dialogue. Get rid of the old Emperor that looked like a witch / goblin.
They had originally used like a lady.
Yeah, it was like a lady voiced over by a man.
Yeah.
With a bunch of makeup on. He was it was green looking.
It was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Just definitely.
And he didn't have the Darth Sidious.
We know Sidious today because like in episode 6, it's a different guy.
Right.
Like, it's the Palpatine we all know and love.
Yeah. So.
Ian McDiarmid.
Yeah. With Ian in episode 6 and not in 5, it just makes no sense. You gotta change it. So, and he does his dialogue and makes it in the movie. It looks great. The hologram looks super, super cool. Not gonna lie, a lot better than the original one.
And what's the dialogue change?
One of the big ones was the fact that in the original release in 1980 was that Palpatine literally directly says to Vader that it seems that we have a threat in this Luke Skywalker character.
That's right.
But in the new change, Palpatine, I love it so much. I just love it. Palpatine goes, "We have a threat in the rebel boy that is possibly the son of Anakin Skywalker."
Yeah.
And then Vader says, "How is that possible?" And Palpatine goes, "Search it in your feelings. You know it to be true." And it helps as well just later in episode 5 when Vader tells the same thing to Luke.
Yeah.
Just a little foreshadowing of that.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
It's a great scene. Like, they definitely did it right. They didn't add anything that wasn't supposed to be added. Like, it was done to perfection, to be honest.
And it helps further Palpatine's character. If you're watching, as you said earlier, in order 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, helps add to the mystery that is the character of Palpatine. That this is the one person Vader is going to kneel to.
Mm-hmm. It is really put point to that. Yeah, it's a really big, strong scene. Like, and for them to do it the way they did is really good. And especially like Ian knocks anytime he plays Sidious, he knocks out of the world. He talks so slowly, and just like the words he says are like you feel the impact. So it's done a lot better than the original. And then since this movie doesn't have a lot of changes, because I mean it's kind of one of the best ones.
Yeah.
I think Lucas was just like, we cannot change a lot of stuff in this movie. Like I feel like if he changed stuff in this movie, he would have
got a lot of flack.
A lot of flack. And I'm not saying he would have changed a lot of stuff, because I personally think he thinks that, like, this movie's top notch. Like, there's not
Lucas hates this movie though.
True, but there's not a lot of like to change, because it is done to perfection. So the next change, they're on Cloud. They're at Cloud City, and it's basically just changing Boba Fett's voice to Tamora Morrison.
Yeah,
and for continuity, you kind of have to do it,
which I'm fine with.
Yeah, like I don't mind it.
I think there's ups and downs of both voice actors.
It's unfortunate that the old voice actor. I don't know his name.
I don't know his name either. But yeah, it is unfortunate he's not in it anymore.
Yeah, but I mean,
May he rest in
ultimately,
peace.
ultimately though, he got paid for it.
Yeah.
So probably not much complaint.
Yeah, and I mean,
Also, just want to touch on the enhanced music between like the cuts to the Star Destroyer. How it has that soft music, but now it's more grandiose Imperial March. And you obviously know John Williams probably had fun doing that piece, but it helps a lot as well because this is the big Star Destroyer that's in each of these scenes. So it really helps just emphasize you saw Star Destroyers before. Oh, wait till you get a load of this thing.
Yeah. So like just the musical production is a lot better than the new revised ones. They added just clear soundtracks. It just makes everything seem a lot more menacing.
Yeah.
With the Boba Fett voice though, I like the original actor's first line where Darth Vader's like, no disintegrations, and what he says, like,
as you wish.
As you wish, yeah. I like the as you wish from the original guy.
It's more disgruntled.
Yeah, that's the only thing I like. Everything else kind of sounds weird, like all the other his other lines, because I'm so used to Tamora Morrison. But that first one is as you wish. I've heard that. That's the one I heard the first time. So like that one I really like, and it just sounds really cool. Because that line by Tamora Morrison just seems more like a soldier just saying yes sir, where the original guy is like kind of like fine, whatever. Like he's kind of giving some sass to Vader, because I guess Vader knows Boba Fett likes to disintegrate people, and it's not a very
I think a point though to the Morrison voicing of that line is the fact that Boba Fett is the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. Mm-hmm. So he's probably heard this order a couple of times, so as he would probably be very professional, and as he follows his father's motto, I'm just a simple man trying to make my way through the galaxy. Just essential professionalism with Darth Vader.
That's a good point. I like
that is true.
That's a good point.
I do like the sass, though.
Yeah.
I like Boba Fett just... I mean, there's a lot of things with Boba Fett that we kind of disagree on.
Yeah.
Like this one, I kind of like, give the sass, Boba Fett. Tell Darth Vader who's up. Like, I'll pull out my disintegration rifle and just bam, right at you. So, I mean...
But I like... Because he is the... I'm sorry.
No,
but you're going to talk about Boba Fett. He is the best. I mean, he's credited as the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. And so, like, I think I agree with Cole that he has this sense of professionalism. He's like, fine, I'll do whatever you want me to do so long as I get paid.
True.
So, I mean...
You going to say something before we move on to
I was going to say that let's move on to what would be the biggest CGI change would be the city in the clouds.
Cloud City, yeah. Bespin.
Yeah.
Yay. It's a good, I mean, they're all good scenes that they add.
Yeah.
I think my favorite, though, like, yes, adding all these, like, CG, like, windows and stuff is cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. I mean, why not add it? Like, if you can do it, make the city more lively, let us see the outside of it.
Yeah.
But, like, the one I think is the best is, like, the intro to it, where it's, like, the faraway shot. It's more of a blue tint.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a painting. I think it is a painting. And they just add, like, a little, like, it looks like a moisture evaporator in the clouds, and then all the way in the back is Cloud City. I think just that little intro looks really nice in the new 2011 version.
It also adds to the fact that Bespin is kind of like a paradise, so to speak.
A paradise that somehow Lando won in a card game.
Exactly. That's supposed to add to the fact that
Who's betting a city?
There's going to be something shifty going around here.
Exactly.
Which adds to the fact of when C-3PO suddenly disappears. But it's the fact that Bespin's is paradise. But there's something a little sneaky going around underneath.
Yeah. Lando always got his tricks, so he had to make a deal. But yeah.
But as we go from one of the best, I think we need to go to...
Yeah, so also on Cloud City, I mean, there's a lot of Cloud City edits that we could go and touch in, but it's really just visual hallway scenes, running scenes, flyby scenes of, like, ships and stuff where Leia's, like, in the window and stuff, just enhancing the outside. They're all good edits, definitely need to happen, but they're just minor things. Yeah. But the next one is kind of like a It's a bigger edit. I mean,
it is.
It's kind of weird, but it's Luke, like, falling / the voice echoes in the scene where, like, Luke.
No, I am your father scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those. In the original, there was an echo. The echo sounds good with Darth Vader.
Not with Luke, though.
Yeah, not with Luke.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't really like his voice in this scene at all. He's so growly.
Like the no you don't like, or just like the...
Just his voice is very... I know I'm one to talk right now, but very hoarse.
Yeah.
And
I think the reason for that, though, is the fact that this is a Luke that's tapping into the dark side a little bit here. Mm. He's angry. He's angry at Vader because, as he heard from Kenobi, this is the guy that killed his father. Yeah. Not only that, he just cut off his hand and now has lost his father's lightsaber. Mm. And he's trying to escape him, and he's hanging out from the rafters above an endless pit, for all he knows. And so he starts screaming at this man in pure hatred right now. I hate you.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're the one that murdered my father.
I think when somebody gets super angry, their voice does change. Mm-hmm. So it might sound kind of weird to some people because we don't hear him sound like that.
That's true.
So he's like at a different state of mind.
That's very true.
So I mean, yeah, his voice is gonna sound weird. But talking about the edit though, I don't like it. The echo, removing the echo is fine, but the edit that we're kind of talking about is like when he falls. It's like when Luke decides to jump off the thing, they add like this scream in the 97. I think they got rid of it in the 2011, or if it's still there.
Know.
They didn't really say in the video. But
it's been a while since I've seen the 2011 edit.
Yeah, it's been a while. Sure. It just sounds like Emperor Palpatine falling down.
Yeah.
The shaft. I literally think they just added that voice line. And it doesn't look good.
The whole falling scene looks awkward.
It looks really bad. Like, I don't know how they could CG that, but if they ever could...
It literally looks like bad Photoshop.
Yeah, but it's a Photoshop character going down.
Yeah, it looks like a cutout of Luke falling down the shaft.
Which, that's what it was, because, again, it was 1980s.
Yeah.
They didn't have what we see now for falling shots.
Yeah, because those...
far up.
Those, like, well... I guess it's a reactor shaft. I don't know. It's a shaft of some kind, like a trash dump or something. Those were painted. Like, that's
yeah.
Like, those are just murals, and then they, like, film behind them and stuff. Or, like, they digitally put them into the film. So, they did the best that they could for the time, but I guess that's, like, the only, like, scene I don't really like.
Yeah.
Personally like at all. Like, the scene's great. No, we're not saying the scene's bad. It's just, like,
the
fall is
it's
weird.
Just nitpicky stuff.
It's just the 80s.
Yeah,
it's just what they.
If you watch it today, it doesn't look like a movie that would come out, and that's kind of what Star Wars is for. Like people like, oh wow, this came out in the 80s. Wow, this seems like something that could have came out like yesterday. Yeah, because that's what kind of Star Wars is timeless.
It's just that one scene just shows the age. Of Episode 5,
and then
just the cracks, but still.
Yeah, the next scene is Cole. You really like this scene.
I do really like the scene, but I think Adam likes this scene more.
I do like this scene. And we were all talking about this earlier, and I love the way you put it, Cole. It just shows the power of the Empire and Darth Vader. It's like so in the original cut in the 1980s. No, in the 1980s. Yeah, okay. He says, "Let's go to my shuttle," and
boring.
They leave it at that. Yeah, they don't show him. But in the 2011 cut, he's talking about or he says, "Let's go to my Star Destroyer. Let's go to my
tell the Star Destroyer to await my arrival."
Yeah, there you go. And so it's just that's that quote. Oh my gosh, it's just so powerful. That's crazy, and it just shows the difference between the rebels who just barely made it out with their lives, and then you've got Darth Vader who's like, "We're going back to base, boys."
But there's also a very somber tone when you see Vader arrive on the Star Destroyer and walk off. It's the Imperial March, but it's in a soft key, and it makes you think for a second, but then you realize Vader failed to convert his son over.
Oh, I love that scene.
And it just when I think about it, it just sends tingles down my spine about the fact like this is the second time Vader's taken a big loss.
I have goosebumps right now. Because you think about the character of Anakin and Darth Vader, it's just continued loss. It's so cool. It's just
Yeah. So that concludes episode 5. Yeah. Great attitude.
By the way, when we're talking about that, when Darth Vader lands his shuttle and all that jazz, those were added later.
Yeah.
So originally, he was just like,
it was just a Millennium Falcon flying away.
Yeah.
No cut to the shuttle and landing on the Star Destroyer.
But anyway, episode 6.
The grand finale.
The grand finale of the original trilogy.
We start off, obviously, on Tatooine, Jabba's palace.
Yep.
I really like the music in episode 6. I like both of them. Like, the first one, I'm not even going to pronounce that. Cole, you pronounce that. Like, the original songs, like...
Look, man, I would probably butcher it anyways. I'm going to try... Lapti-Mek.
Yeah, so that's...
Which I think is the aliens, the female alien singer.
It is. She was just a puppet in the original.
Yeah.
So the edit is basically the CGI dance and the song change.
Yeah.
Basically
I think
the
both
whole
songs fit both different scenes.
Yeah, so the first song is fine.
But they had like 2 different edits of both of these songs. Is like the thing, I think, right?
Well, Jedi Rocks, there was just one Jedi Rocks.
Was there?
Yeah, where they CGI'd, I can't believe I'm forgetting her name, but the singer, she's in Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Yeah.
She's Zero the Hutt's, like, lover.
Which, that's the only part that I like about the scene, is that callback.
Yeah, but she was in the original, though, but she was a puppet. And she kind of more in the background. You see more of the blue guy, like the drummer and the harmonica.
Yeah.
Max Rebo.
Yeah. And I forgot... It's the guy who says, like, ooh, gay day. Like, that furry guy was added CGI.
The weird bug-looking guy?
Yeah.
And he just... The huge...
But he's like one of the...
Screams at you.
He's like one of the singers in the second song called Jedi Rocks, which I personally like the second song way better.
I like it, too.
The CGI doesn't, like... If I was watching the movie in 3D, I think it would look a lot cooler. I feel like it was meant for 3D.
Yeah.
When they added that, they're like, ooh, 3D, let's... And like her lips coming really close to the screen, really at you.
Yeah,
it was like one of those moments because that's like a 2011 thing.
And you had said before that this was really re-released in theaters.
No, that was episode 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So never mind then.
Yeah,
I don't know why they would add a 3D aspect.
I think you can watch it in 3D. I think because the complete saga, I forgot what it's called, but I have it. Like when the re-releases came out in 2011. And they were Blu-ray. They came in like a collection. I bought that in 2011. So I'm not sure if there's a 3D disc on that, but I'm pretty sure you can probably watch it in 3D.
I think what Jedi Rocks though that does better than Lapti-Mek is the fact that it shows both sides of Jabba the Hutt's palace and his character himself. Like, this guy knows how to party.
Yeah.
But then, as well as the second point with the Twi'lek scene where she gets fed to the Rancor, we don't see it.
His castle.
Yeah, but the fact that he's ruthless at the same time, like as she's trying to pull away from him, automatically drops her in the re-release, and whoo!
Yeah,
that's a
so the next scene is
scary.
The next scene is when the Twi'lek girl falls down. They actually took the original actor. This is like in 2000, like before, I think before 2011, they reshot this. Mm-hmm. But like, they took the original actor, this is like 20-something years later, and she suits up into the costume again, and they shoot this scene. So it's like the original actor, who did the original dance, the Green Twilight, has that scene where she's in the pit, she looks kind of at the camera, she looks up and then screams, and then the Rancor door opens up and she gets eaten. That scene was refilmed, well, not refilmed, well, it was filmed and then added to the movie. And it's really cool just to add little shorts like that in there. Because, I mean, if you got time, put it in.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt anything.
In the original...
it was just the scream.
Yeah. It was just all of them gathering around the grate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then with that scene...
it also adds to the mystery of the Rancor that we we'll see Luke fight later on.
Yeah. This scene next, the Boba Fett, I call it the Boba Fett Playboy scene. This happens around the same exact time where like commotion kind of gets kind of weird. They reshot some scenes where Boba Fett was with some of the singer girls from like the Jedi Rock scene, and he's kind of just like next to them. He touches one of them's chin, basically saying, "I'll see you later. I'll talk to you later." He's kind of just like a pimp right now. He says, "I got to do my business." You know what I mean? Like, got to go to work. So,
which I'm not a huge fan of this scene because it kind of, I don't know, it kind of cheapens the character. It just kind of shows he's not focused.
I disagree because I think he has the same mindset as Django. Kind of had. Was the fact like they're both bounty hunters, but they'll have some fun.
Yeah, I think Boba Fett should have some fun. Make him look like a pimp. I don't care. Like he's bad. Like he's a bad dude. Like he can hang out with girls if he wants.
I mean, Jango Fett wanted a son, and Boba Fett also probably.
If you put Jango Fett in a bar with hot girls around, I think Jango would do the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would buy some death.
But also, well, I don't know because you keep saying Jango or Boba is just like his father. He's trying to make his way through the galaxy, which is true. But Jango and Boba are two different people.
Oh, absolutely.
You got Boba is trying to prove himself to be his father's equal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just kind of seems like
they all both die from a jetpack. How about they just upgrade a jetpack? Get a stronger jetpack. That's the only reason both of them died. Well, Boba Fett's back. Boba's back, baby.
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
Turns out in Book of Boba Fett, he dies to a jetpack.
I swear, I will laugh so hard. I will laugh.
I will not. I will be pretty mad. Okay, so the next scene, they're on the sail barge. This is right before we see the sail barge. It's just a little CGI cut of like sand and some banthas. You hear their like cry. It's kind of an atmospheric addition.
Just add to the world.
Yeah, add to the world. Tatooine looks great. Totally, I agree with it.
Yep.
Just add it. Why not? Totally good. And then they
but our little boy Sarlacc gets an update as well.
Yeah,
so he gets a mouth.
The next scene is the Sarlacc gets a mouth. Yeah,
he's not just
the tentacles are more like vibrant, and then it has a new like cry. Yeah, like a more high pitched scream. I like it. Yes, it is CG, but I don't think it's bad. Like
I think it's fine. I think I like it way better than the original.
Yeah,
because in the original it's a hole with tentacles and like squid quills.
Yeah, it's it. Like you don't see any. You don't see.
They just kind of fall into a hole with teeth and tentacles. Like okay,
you're just like. All right.
But with the edit, you see him fall into the jaws of this beast. It's like, oh, they gone.
Yeah. So it just makes it more, I guess, sinister and dark looking.
Yep.
More of a creature.
Especially with Lando.
So I feel like if you watch this in 83 for the first time, you're like, this is a Sarlacc pit. It's alive, but like, how is it alive? Yeah. This kind of shows like what it is more. So
it's still creepy, but again, to modern movie standards, people like to see the full beast.
Yeah, like show us the beast. So that's basically what they did. And then during this whole scene, it's another audio scene where basically it's just a small change where Han Solo says, basically, Lando says to Han Solo, I thought you were blind. And Han Solo says, I think in the first one, he says, trust me. And then in the second one, he says, it's okay, I can see a lot better now. So I don't know which one I like better.
I definitely like the second one better.
But I might have mixed that up. I'm pretty sure, though, the first one is just like, trust me.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny. It's like, no, I don't trust you.
But as well, it's kind of in character for Han to just shout to Lando, they have always been a rival.
And then the second one just sounds a little weird. It's just like, I can see a lot better now. But he doesn't say like comedic wise or anything. So I'm pretty sure the first one was just trust me. But that's just a little audio blip. I don't know why they changed it. It is what it is. It's not bad or good. It's just a little thing. And then next on the list, it's we jump all the way to Endor. We don't have a like there's a lot of there might have been a couple other cuts in there, but they're mostly just visual stuff, like probably ships. But we move to the updated R2 is basically when he plugs himself into the door.
Yeah. Shaft.
It fries him. He shoots out all of his like appliances, like little arms and stuff
that you get from
electricity.
episode 1.
Yeah, so it just makes him look a lot cooler. Updated R2 hardware, because I mean, I guess it's a continuity thing. Like, it's not like he lost.
And something that I kind of noticed as well was that, to me anyways, it was a lot easier to see the gadgets popping out of R2 in the fixed version rather than the original.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So a lot of the revisions in episode 6 are very small as they go on. I think episode 4 was just like the biggest one.
Yeah.
George just really wanted to overhaul that one because I guess, as you would say, for the first one, he didn't have a lot of money. So, like, that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
So
and it turned out to be a big success.
That's why there were so many revisions. So, like, the next one...
everything Death Star 2 onward.
Yeah. So, we have the Death Star explosion, and then right after that, we have the Vader's no. Mm-hmm. So, those kind of go, like, hand in hand. Basically, right before Vader throws the Emperor down the... reactor shaft.
Yeah.
It's always a reactor shaft.
Always a reactor shaft.
Always.
Those darn reactor shafts.
It's just Vader saying... I'm not sure if it's out loud or just in his head. I'm pretty sure it's just out loud.
It's out loud.
It's out loud.
It's just no. He just says no.
Well,
and
so
Adam likes...
So, in 1983, when it originally released, Vader just says nothing.
Yeah.
And grabs Palpatine and throws him.
Yeah,
but
he's just standing there awkwardly.
In the re-release, Vader... What happens is he says no twice. The first one is like he's kind of talking to himself like, no, this is wrong. And then he just shouts, no, like you aren't going to kill my son, and picks up Palpatine. And it just kind of adds a little more emotion.
Yeah.
Like, Adam, you point this out, that this just fills up one of those, like, awkward, no voice line scenes with audio.
Because there, for some reason, there are a lot of those. Like, it's just like, in the original cuts of these movies... For some reason, we just have characters standing around, like, and so a lot of these audio additions are to fill the void. So in the original cut, Vader's just kind of standing there like an awkward child. Like, he just looks back at Palpatine and then looks at his son, and he's like, "All right, I guess I'll throw him off a cliff." I don't know, like, yeah. So in the revision, it's way better. As Cole put, he's way more emotional. It's very much true to his character.
Yeah, and then the Death Star explosion really happens. That's just like the ring.
Yeah.
So when it explodes, they add the little ring, just like in episode 4.
And then, just to keep with continuity, but still looked a little awkward in the original.
I think this was hilarious.
Yeah, because all these edits right now are about Darth Vader and the Death Star. Like, they're all coming together.
It's when Luke takes off Vader's mask.
Yeah, so in the 83 version, I guess we'll call Darth Vader Anakin now, because I guess he is Anakin. He has eyebrows. And there's some big, black, bushy eyebrows.
They are bushy.
Yeah, like, it's literally all you see is eyebrows.
All you notice.
Yeah, all you notice is eyebrows moving. It's like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah. And to keep with episode 3 continuity, that he got burned to a crisp, they edit the eyebrows out. And it's like, thank you.
Yeah, it looks way better.
They needed to get rid of those eyebrows, because it doesn't look good with them. So.
Yeah.
Even pre-episode 3.
All of us can agree. We can all agree they needed to do that.
Yeah.
So, it makes, what's his actor's name again?
Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah, so it helps him out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, no eyebrows.
Because he has, like, jet black hair.
Yeah, he has dark hair.
And he's, like, painted
white.
I mean, just pale.
Yeah.
It's just...
And then dark
black eyebrows.
It doesn't make sense. So, thank God they edited that out. And then, until the rest of the movie, really, we jump all the way to the ending. And this is a doozy.
This is where Lucas pulls out all the big bucks.
Before we talk about just, like, the celebration ending, well, this is the celebration.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what they did add. So, in 97, they added Coruscant, Tatooine, and Bespin. Like, a celebration where, like, it pans to those cities or planets, and you see the people celebrating.
Yep.
And then in 2004, they updated Coruscant
to include the Jedi Temple and the Senate building.
Yeah, and they also added Naboo.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have those 4 planets. You see the people celebrating. That's really cool. I really like that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Our 4 major planets.
Yeah,
in Star Wars.
Something like an important note when they added Coruscant in 98. Was that right?
97.
97. The prequels had not come out yet. So that was kind of a foreshadowing, like a call ahead.
And that's why in 2004 they updated like the Jedi Temple and the Senate just to look what they were supposed to look
Episode
like.
1 was being teased.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Coruscant was probably an announced planet at that time.
Yeah, it was probably in the EU for sure. Like definitely in the EU.
Yeah.
So, because Coruscant's been like a
big planet.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's the city planet.
Yeah.
So those scenes, super cool. I'm glad they added them. It just makes I guess the universe more connected.
Yeah.
And also vast. Like it makes it bigger. Because we don't see a lot of movies in the original, or not a lot of movies, a lot of planets in the original.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it also, and I really enjoy the Naboo cut. Because it kind of makes that transition to episode 1 a little bit more seamless if you're watching it
4 or 5.
But then as well,
1, 2, 3.
Naboo, if you're watching in chronological order, it's the planet that started everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
Naboo.
It's an important planet, and I'm glad they added that one as a celebration and not something else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to the celebration, they add a lot of like more enhancements to the fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
There's more like campfires of the
Yeah.
Ewoks and stuff. Little visual stuff like that. But the original,
They do a music change.
yeah, they did a huge music change. The original had Yub-Nub. And
it's such a funny song name.
I hate it.
Yeah, Adam, can you just talk about what you think about Yub-Nub?
It sounds. What did I say? It sounded like
Flintstones.
It sounded like the Flintstones.
It's definitely very tribal.
It's just no. It's not even tribal. It's just. I don't know.
80s cartoon.
Exactly. 80s cartoon, and I'm just like, can you imagine the choir?
Well, just think about this. We just beat like the Empire, and we're listening to Yub-Nub.
We're listening. Yub-Nub. Like it's so bad.
I just want to say 2 things.
And Cole, you have a different opinion about that.
Look, I want to say 3 things. I want to say 3 things
Go ahead.
actually.
Mike's all yours.
One is that there were no other planets originally, and that this was our rebels cheering with the Ewoks.
Yeah.
And this was probably supposed to be the Ewok victory song, and they were celebrating with the Ewoks, so it was kind of fitting with that atmosphere of it. And 2, it's campy.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be that way. It's the 80s. It was supposed to be kind of campy. It was supposed to be happy, jolly.
It's supposed to be a little cheesy.
Get a little Yellowstone vibe.
But just a third thing, but just to a personal preference, is the fact that that's what plays at the end of Lego Star Wars.
Right, and
The
you and Connor both have like.
And
nostalgic.
I was like, and that was nostalgia to me. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I heard at the end of beating Complete Saga, and I was like, and it fits the theme of Lego Star Wars at the same time.
Yeah, so I think this song is way better than Lego Star Wars because it's the silliness of the game.
Yeah.
We always got to tie it back to Lego somehow.
Yeah.
But,
we need to make this a theme.
Yeah, just the little Lego.
Yeah.
Hey, this is in Lego. It's a lot better in Lego. So everything's better in Lego.
Absolutely.
But no, I remember Yub-Nub from Lego Star Wars, but also I feel like it was in like Battlefront 2, the original like 2005 version or something.
Yeah.
It might have been in that game, but I remember it from video games more than Victory Celebration, which is the new song they added.
I definitely agree. Victory Celebration with the edits and all the added stuff, it's much more fitting.
Yeah. Like when I heard Victory Celebration, I'm pretty sure the first time I saw episode 6, I saw it with Victory Celebration because I think Victory Celebration was a 97 edit. I cry every time I hear Victory Celebration. I don't know what it is, but when I watch that scene, it just hits me really hard.
Because it and we talked about this before as well. It's just that it has a relieving nature. Like they've just killed, or they defeated the Empire.
It's a really good.
They've waited 20 years,
and as well, excluding the sequels, this was the end of Star Wars. Like as well, this was the victory.
Yeah.
Palpatine's dead. The Empire annihilated at this point.
Yeah.
They've lost 2 Death Stars. There's no chance of them recovering probably at that point. And the whole galaxy is celebrating at this point.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just a great musical piece to add to the movie.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's like the best thing I can say is just that's an awesome scene. If you can just watch it, just watch
Yeah,
it.
and one thing about Yub-Nub that I just thought of, like, how do you go from something like Imperial March to Yub-Nub? I don't know. How do you do that?
I don't know why they. I don't know. I can't.
It was a different director for episode 6.
Was it?
Remember that.
Okay.
Episode 4 and 5 were directed by someone else. Episode 6 was someone entirely different.
Gotcha.
There's a reason why some people don't like episode 6 as much as episode 4 and 5. It's because it was a different direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But also similar because Lucas is still making the story.
Yeah.
Just someone
different.
someone else did different fine tuning and fixing stuff than the other two.
Got you.
I'm not saying Yub-Nub's that bad, but it just kind of doesn't really fit.
Exactly.
It's a funny song.
It's
a funny song, yeah. Compared
for
to
an
Victory
unfunny
Celebration.
moment.
Like if Victory Celebration never came out, I think we'd be like, Yub-Nub's fine. I mean, it's whatever. It's just since we heard this such amazing musical score, it's like, well, Victory Celebration.
It's
knocks
emotional.
it out of the ballpark.
It's emotional and it's
yeah.
fantastic.
So the final, this is during Victory Celebration or Yub-Nub, whatever version. Well, actually, only in Victory Celebration versions you'll see the Jedi Ghost scene.
Yeah.
With
the 2004
Anakin.
edit.
Yeah, with Anakin in it, because the Yub-Nub has Sebastian.
Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah, his Force Ghost, and they edit him out and add Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen to it. I personally like that. It just makes it seem.
And I don't.
It ties the prequels.
Yeah, I don't mind it because for that reason.
It does suck for Sebastian, like the actor,
right.
But like he is.
He still plays Darth Vader.
Yeah, he still plays Darth Vader, which is amazing.
Yeah. So,
and as well, just to say, as first of all, Sebastian Shaw Vader, he's without a lot of limbs and he's burnt to a crisp, so it'd be kind of weird to see a fully regenerated
that doesn't
Force Ghost.
True.
It just doesn't. I'm just confused about the lore aspect of why Hayden Christensen.
But the point of that as well was the fact that Hayden Christensen, when the edit was made for him to become Anakin, the point of that was the fact that it's a much more relatable face to the people who are watching the prequels, because the prequels are coming out at this time. Hayden Christensen has become the face of Anakin at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think Anakin should be in it because kids don't really know who Sebastian is. You know what I mean? Like, and when you're looking at it, like, you're only going to know. Like, if you watch the prequels, like, you know who Anakin is.
Yeah,
and then when you see this older man, you're like, who is that guy? So, yeah, I think Anakin should be there. No diss on Sebastian or anything. It's just, Anakin, like, the Force Ghost is when Anakin was a Jedi.
And the 2011 cuts were made for the prequels audience. And so
exactly.
It's like, supposed to tie in the prequels. And all that.
So, I like it.
So, I would understand if it's... you know, if the Hayden Christensen cut was meant to be just to tie in prequels with the original trilogy, but I think, I don't know, I'd like to know the lore reason, because that's
it's probably out there somewhere. We just gotta look it up. But with that concludes all the we call them Lucas edits, but honestly, it's just George Lucas's revisions to the original trilogy. Yeah. A lot of them are, not all of them are controversial, but a lot of them are good and kind of, I like them. They needed to happen.
I like the majority of them.
We just wanted to inform the audience.
Yeah,
like,
just an interesting topic.
Yeah, this is what happened in the first 4.
Yeah.
Or not first 4, but first 3, 4, 5, and 6. These edits exist, and there are alternate versions to the movie that a lot of people just haven't seen. Like, when we watched the videos, we didn't see some of... we saw these for the first time sometimes. So it was just interesting to see. And with that, I'd like to conclude our second podcast. My name's Connor.
My name's Adam.
My name's Cole.
Like, comment, and subscribe.